this video, we are going to unwrap and texture the chair which we have modeled so far. This video is a part of our full course, which you will find that at artstudio313.net. To make the most of your experience and stay up to date with our latest videos, please like, subscribe and turn on the bell notification icon to receive instant updates whenever we release new videos. If you have any question, suggestion or request for specific topics, feel free to leave a comment in our videos or reach out to us with email. Without any further ado, let's jump directly into the videos. Let's go to the chair. Focus on it. Let's start working on the legs. We only need to adjust one of them. Press L multiple times to select all of the parts, or by pressing W in order to use the circle selection. Press Shift H in the next step. Then number the slash to concentrate on this specific area. Press W once again to switch back to the select box. This leg is built with the support of some parts. This is one of them. It seems like they are connected. One of their vertices is attached. This is the second part. Also the third is the bolts and the nails. Let's separate this from the rest in the first step, because when I press Shift H, the rest will appear again. By pressing numpad slash, we will only focus on this one. Press Shift H to only focus on this single part. Well, since these two are connected together, the attached parts will not disappear. We will unwrap one of the legs. Hide the rest. Press 2 for edge, then hold on Alt. Repeat the same process again. Deselect some of them. Right-click, then find it from the menu and click on it. Its job is to detach those from each other. As you are able to tell, this is where we are pointing at. Then you unwrap. We will do the rest of it later. For now, we shouldn't have issue anymore. I'm going to redo the same for the holes. The green part is for this specific area. Open up the viewport shading and set the lighting to studio. For this part, we need to separate the holes from the rest of the leg. So hold down Alt and left click to select the loop, then add a margin. Press 3 for face and select this specific part until we will find that in the UV editor tab. Now press A to select everything and press U and unwrap that. In the UV Editor tab, you will see that we made a new island by adding the new margin. Now let's select this shape, hold down Alt and add a margin of the half of this object. Then press U and unwrap it. So we will do the same for all the holes. We need to add the margin, and we'll do the same thing with the nails, because after unwrapping they will convert to a new island. Select all by pressing A, then U in order to unwrap. Seemingly, they are all separated and placed next to each other. Click on Average Island Scale from the UV menu after making a total selection. Then find the Pack Island option from the prior menu. Let's demonstrate why I get this kind of island. It is caused by the area where the bolt is placed. Make the rest of the bolts visible by pressing Alt-H. I will just select this area and you unwrap that again. Then you unwrap that again. With the help of these marks in which we added in the half of this nail, we get a really good island out of that. So we will do the same process with all other the nails. As you can see, I added the marks in on all the nails. Oh, I forgot to add one right here. Hold down Alt, then add one on a part. Press Shift H to only concentrate on this part. Press 1, then Alt H. Right click and add margin. This is the result as we unwrap it. The back face causes the problem. We need to delete it. Repeat the same process. Currently, we have gotten what we were looking for. Press Alt-H to make everything visible again. For now, we are going to redo all the adjustments to the rest. Press L, Shift H, delete this, add margin, press Alt-H again, press L, then Shift H for the top, add a margin which is not easily spotted. Therefore, when we are texturing it, it will not be too obvious. Do you remember how we unwrapped cylinders? Right-click, add margins. Delete the bottom face. We need to keep the two little part on this side. If we delete these, then there will be an empty area left on. Press N in object mode. Apply the scale by pressing Ctrl A. Unwrap it once again. Click on Average Island Scale and Pack Island. You might not see any changes after choosing those. it has actually applied the scales to viewport. Press Ctrl space, then number the slash. If we want to repeat all of those for each of the legs, then it will take forever. Let's hide them first with the help of H key. Instead, we are going to use mirror modifier around it. First of all, parent these objects to the chair. Select the legs first, then the seat secondly. Press Ctrl P, keep transform. From the top of the graphic, press N. Make a selection of the chair only. Place it in the axis. It is now aligned with the global axis. Enable the origins from the option menu. It's aligned evidently. From this specific origin point, press Shift S to snap the cursor to the selected object. With the help of an empty, I am going to rotate it 3 times. Let me expand the idea more. If we add a mirror modifier already, then the mirrored ones will be placed poorly. Whatever you do, it will not go to their original location, even if we press backspace and set all those to 0. Also pressing Ctrl R and setting the rotation to 0. We will still face the same issue. Let's be smarter about this and use the objects from the Add menu to our advantage. For example, the empty type which are available for such cases. Add an empty sphere, then scale it. Keep in mind that whatever we add, it will be placed on the 3D cursor right away. Select the leg. Then use the eyedropper tool on the empty item. Unhide the legs. We just fixed the problem by only clicking here and there were a bunch of items. You can also choose to work on this part too. I will leave that to you. Let's move on to the next part. We can also unwrap this as well. However, it is not actually necessary, because I'm going to set a simple material such as black material. This means that they're not that noticeable. Try to put some offer on texturing the objects, which are more visible from the close view. It is the seat turn now. First, apply the scale by holding down Ctrl A. It's a bit incompatible with the Solidify. Adjust it slightly. Apply the subdivision. Let's hide the other modifier for now. Select it, then unwrap it with the help of the U key simply. The start of the modeling was from a cube initially. These are the two faces of the cube, which is also two planes. Consider adding another subdivision in order to get a smoother edge. Set it to 1. Solidify has caught some issues on these particular parts. However, Subdivision has fixed it for us already. Before proceeding to texturing topic, I would like to introduce shading. Open it from the top tab. We have the 3D viewport in this field. At the bottom, the shader editor is available. If my object is the Suzanne head, then I will be able to add a new material in the shader editor by clicking on the new button. Let me get rid of this part too, since we do not need it, and increase the viewport size. You have two ways of creating a material. The first method is to click on the new button in shader editor. The second one includes opening the material properties and click on the new button. As soon as you do it, whatever you have on the right of the screen will also be available in the shader editor from the principal BSDF. For example, if I change the base color from this field, then the other one will be adjusted accordingly. We can conclude that they are linked with each other. Even if you name it Suzanne, the name on the left will be updated too. Switch to the front orthographic view. Duplicate it with Shift D. We have two objects on the screen. Both of them are using the same material. Therefore, next to its name, you will be able to observe the 2 number. If I make another duplication, then the number will change to 3. This means that there are 3 objects using Suzanne material. By pressing on the new material, one of them will be assigned to a new one. Therefore, 2 of them are using the same material, and one has a different one. We can name it Suzanne_02. Changing the color will cause only one to get adjusted. The other 2, which they are linked, are going to change color together. Remove them all. Press Shift A to add a cube. I would like to texture it. I'm going to repeat the same process as I did before in a face space. Initially from the front, then from the top. Deselect these. Connect one of them with each other. Right click and add a margin. I'm going to extrude this cube, so you will get to know the abilities of the shader editor. Then we will proceed to texturing the desk and the rest. I have a folder called Wood, which it contains the texture that I will be using in this project. I can drag and drop them one by one. However, keep in mind to click on New from the beginning. Name it Wood. Let's drag them one by one. We need a base color, roughness, normal, and ambient occlusion. We need these 4. Place the base color on the AO. AO is observation of the ambient occlusion. Also, this is the base color. We need to mix them together. As soon as I link it with the principal BSDF, then the texture appears on the cube. With taking note of the mark seam we have added. Switch to UV editor instead of image editor. Press U to unwrap it simply. We can also click on them and observe each of their layers in UV editor window. Each of them looks like this. The normal are in blue color. In order to mix these, open up the Add tab and find the Mix Color option from the Color menu. I will place it in between these. Link the AO to the B node of the Mix field. We have two mixes available. The first is located in Shader and called Mix Shader. The second one is the Color. Also, it is called Mix Color. The yellow ones are the RGB or colors. The green ones are actually shaders. Therefore, you will be able to search them in Shader. Modify the mix to multiply instead. Let me zoom in and show you the difference when I play around with the factor. If I press 1, then some areas will become darker. You have already learned to mix some layers. You have the ability to search something by pressing Shift A. For example, type in Mix Color. I don't know why in Blended 3.5 it doesn't show up, unfortunately. Maybe I'm not typing the name correctly. Let's search up another node called Color Ramp. As we could add items with Shift A, you can use the same method in the shader editor. Let me link the rest of the layers to the principal BSDF. Connect the roughness to the roughness. In the moment of connection, you will be able to observe the sudden shine appearing on the cube. When we place PBR texture on top of each other in order, it will display the material beautifully. We can adjust them further to get a better result too. Add a color ramp in between the roughness. Play around with the bar to achieve the ideal look. The dark and the white parts will draw the glossy and the matte areas respectively. The more I drag the slider towards the white parts, then the more the matte areas will grow in size. Also, the same goes for dragging the other slider towards the black part. I was testing it. I will expand it in details later on. At the end, we have the normal bumps. Connect it to the normal. In the meantime, I will search up the bump by pressing Shift A shortcut. Place it here. Link it to height instead. Adjust the strength. 0.3 should be good enough. We have added a fake bump to it. Add another node called Mapping. I will further explain its capabilities. Drag it closer and connect them all from the vector. Select them all. Press H. It should be easier this way. By pressing H, you will minimize those. If you pay attention, everything has fallen apart. This is caused due to not having a texture coordinate. Link it from the UV. The texture is looking better currently. We can scan, rotate, or move the object with the help of these. For example, let me set the scale to 2. From the top to bottom, drag while left-clicking. Type a random number like 5. As you're able to see, the textures are way too tiny now. It has useful capabilities which we are going to become familiar with it later. I feel like I've explained this part briefly. If you're going to add another texture, then select it. Click on the Add Material slot. In the next step, click on New. Do not forget to assign it. Therefore, it will appear. We have the principal BSDF which we had in the beginning. By adding new stuffs to it, you can alter it further. We have 2 material slots currently. One is called Wood and the other Material. We have the ability to remove or add more as we wish. You also can access it from the specific area. The textures are visible next to it. This was a brief explanation about material shader or properties. See you in the next video. Let's focus on the seat in the meantime. Open another window and switch to the shader editor. Close the extra field by pressing M. In modifiers, as you can see, I have not applied the solidify and subdivision modifiers yet. Keep the solidify for now. If I turn off the subdivision, I feel like I've applied one of them before, because without this, there is enough geometry. I applied the subdivision once before, and I added a new one again, because I want to make that really smooth. Add another panel as UV editor. In this window, the islands is mapped. Set one of the textures from PBR textures. Switch to material preview. It is not displaying the changes due to a region that we have not set a material to it yet. Click on Browse Material to the linked button. Assign the wood texture. If I press Tab, then you are able to observe that there are no marked seams added yet. Also, the rest is flawless since we have used the plane. Let me show it to you. Press 5 to switch between orthographic and user perspective mode. This is not too complex. The moment we unwrap it, it will be mapped as two planes. The simpler the model is, the uncomplicated the texture will be. If we apply the modifiers, then it would enhance our model. This part didn't have too many details. Let's move on to texturing the legs. Assign the same wood textures to them as well. We need to rotate this. Press Tab. Move it around for 90 degrees. Scale it slightly so it fits the UV map. Naturally, the bolts and nuts shouldn't have the wooden material. They should be metallic. All the details are well implemented. Press 3, hover the mouse on them, then press L. Repeat this for all the other areas. These parts are made out of metal in the reference picture. We could have changed the seat too. However, personally I do not want to modify its material. Select all these areas with L key. We need to make a new material. Either you can click on these slots or from this icon. Both ways are doable. Click on the plus icon, then New. Name it Metal. Assign it. Their colors alter as soon as we set them to a new material. Let's change the white color to a darker version. Play around with the same properties. Set the metallic to 5. If we decrease the roughness, then it would appear shinier. Test it with a different HDRI. This is actually way better. Adjust the specular. Now let's focus on the ropes. We can assign them a new or simple material. Click on it and new material. Change it to black. Initialize the roughness to 1 and a specular to 0. If we increase the specular, it will cast more lights. Ropes in general are not glossy whatsoever. Only can achieve the same by setting the specular to 0. If you want to support me and this channel, so make sure to visit my website and purchase the full course. And as well subscribe to this channel so you never miss an upcoming video. Thank you very much and see you in the next.